So with everything that's happening currently, it feels quite overwhelming, especially if you're quite tuned into what's happening in other countries, in France, Italy, US, Australia, South America. There's a lot of mandating, there's a lot of masks, of vaccines, and rules and regulations, more lockdowns. This is likely to also come more in further into the year when we move into flu seasons. And so we here are quite cushioned in the UK at the moment, but that doesn't mean it's going to stay that way. And I feel we need to begin to make space for the really important dialogue that needs to happen. I mean, we all want to go out and take actions and protest. I'm not saying these are not important, because they are, but how is that really beginning to support this coming together of different viewpoints and mindsets so that we can begin to really understand what's going on at the many vast levels, from the spiritual awakening process to the awaken to the reality in the matrix that we're living in. So it's not easy. We are entering the eye of the storm. I have created this space for this purpose, really, to begin to talk about these things, to begin to understand what skills we need to cultivate if we're talking to people with different mindsets, as a space that's private and safe, that feels like you can really share and get feedback on what's important for you at this time. So taking action, going out into our local communities, we can do that with the Stand in the Park. You can check that out on their website. They have created a sort of system or way of being able to connect with other people who are on the same wavelength as you. This is important to help bind and not feel alone in this whole process. And yeah, even within those little groups, there's going to be factions. Of course, this always happens, isn't it? And differences of opinion about how to approach things. So what I feel is really important is getting to grips with what's really foundational in terms of what we need to understand, what people are going through, what their conflicts are, how they feel, this deeper sense of disturbance inside of them about, for example, mandated vaccines, how for them maybe they've had the vaccine but they don't appreciate that they're mandating it for everybody. This doesn't feel right for them. People want to be able to talk about this without this sort of this kind of conspiracy theory kind of thrown back in their face. Now, I know there's many levels and layers and to truth. I understand there's a lot of crazy things we have no clue about, and there's a lot of crazy things that I wouldn't probably even speak about on these videos, because I understand that is going to actually put people off, and I don't know what the truth is, so who am I to start putting things out there? But what I do think is that we need to start where people are at. We need to begin to open up that space and really meet them there, not trying to convert them or scare them, but really hearing their more grounded sometimes perspectives. Like, they've seen people who've had COVID and they see that as a real issue, and they want to understand how that is not being translated perhaps into some of the truthers and that community there, how there's many different opinions about what COVID is, and there's no consensus on that anywhere. So it's not about pushing agendas. It's not about standing by your truth all the time. It is about having certain non-negotiable, perhaps, reality checks that that you can't negotiate on sometimes. But we do need to also really listen and be prepared to drop our own version, to really take people in and receive them. And if people can really feel that that is happening, they're going to be a lot more open for that being common sense than what we have going on in the mainstream narrative around no alternative viewpoints at all, really, that are, you know, realistically entertained. So yeah, this space really wants to be explored here. This is how I feel it, and I really want to give some momentum and energy to this. And for everybody, wherever you're at, whatever your belief systems are, you know, this is for you to ask your questions. It doesn't matter whether you've had the vaccine or not. It doesn't matter for me whether you believe you should or not. We all have our personal opinions. How can we begin to negotiate this together to take us forwards? Yeah. So please do join us. You can find the links at the top of the Instagram page, the link tree. You can go to the Sovereign Being website and sign up. It's free to come into our community. Please do join us.